podcast called Living the Stream comes to you each week. Streaming recommendations during NFL season, it's not just tongue-in-cheek. Quarterback, defense, tight end recommendations based on opposition matchup. Here are your podcast hosts, JJ Zachariason and Denny Carter, Living the Stream.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Living the Stream. I'm JJ Zachariason, the late round quarterback, and I am joined by my very curious co-host, Denny Carter. Denny, what's going on, buddy?
I am looking curious today. For those who are not watching on YouTube, you are missing my dollar store Christmas tree sunglasses. Not sunglasses, just regular glasses. They help me see. I got them from my optometrist, but I figured I needed to wear them at some point on air, and this was a good opportunity. I'm also wearing my reindeer tie because back when I used to work in an office, I used to wear these ties all month. You know, I used to be like, the Christmas tie guy, he's crazy. Yeah. You never know what he's gonna do.
You were that guy.
I was, and but you know, since I work at home, I can't wear them, you know, with people, so I wear them when I'm sort of with you.
Sure. All right, Denny, I gotta talk about something that happened to me last night.
All right.
Okay. All year, I've told you guys about bad beats, island games not going my way.
Yes.
You know, just ridiculous things happening in my leagues. Denny, last night might have been the greatest fantasy football night of my entire career.
Really?
I got to tell you what happened.
Okay. You had Alec Pierce.
I didn't.
Oh,
okay. So I go into last night. I had some, you know, like finals teams, and like I was feeling okay about like how the season went down. But when I sort of compared and contrasted, like I think I had a good year from like an advice and like an analyst perspective, right?
I do too.
And so like I was really excited about that. And then I felt like some of my teams didn't necessarily matter. Like, you know, the effectiveness of my teams should have been like way, like they were above average, but it should have been like fantastically above average, you know, really, really good. And so going into last night, I had some games at stake, but some of them were pretty long shots to be able to, you know, get there to really, you know, get to the finals or whatever the case may be. And you get best ball sweats also. Okay.
Best ball sweats, of course, it affects 1 in 5 men.
Right. They are best ball sweats. That's right. And so you gotta watch how you say that. And so anyway, in best ball, I had, you know, like 14 teams going or so, and this week, and you know, obviously on DraftKings, the flagship contest is their Millie contest, where the winner gets $2 million. So in that contest, I had Christian McCaffrey, okay, in one of my lineups that I had a shot, like a semi-long shot to get in, right? I'd say probably like a 20% chance. And then I had some other stuff going on, but let me just tell you what happened. So I don't know. Did you watch that game again last night?
I went to a local restaurant / bar and watched it with friend of the show, Scott Simpson, and Zach Kruger, my Roto World colleague.
Yes. Nice. Yes. And so in that game, the 49ers start just lighting it up immediately, right? Like they look, and I mean, the Colts did too, to start that game. Right. And, I needed Christian McCaffrey. I had one league where I had Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. Okay. That's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but I got to tell the story about that too. And then in best ball, I had that one, Christian McCaffrey team that I really needed to do well. So anyway, the game goes on and I'm sweating and like things are getting really interesting. And then there comes that third or that second down at like, you know, the 11, whatever the yard line might be, where Brock Purdy drops back to pass and he throws a beauty to Jake Tunges, and it's a touchdown. That was a touchdown.
It was an amazing throw and catch.
Brock Purdy was out of his freaking mind last night.
He was unconscious.
Like, I don't know how you bench him in the finals in fantasy football. Like, I have him in a lot of spots, and I have him versus like Drake May and stuff. And I'm like, I would feel terrible if Brock Purdy, if I benched him and he go, but regardless, we'll get to that a little bit. Yeah. And so that Jake Tunges touchdown happens. They call it no touchdown, and Kyle Shanahan
Doesn't
for whatever
challenge.
reason doesn't challenge it.
You know why? Can I just say why?
Yeah,
Because Kyle Shanahan hates when Brock Purdy makes a play. Because that's not how Kyle Shanahan drew it up. He did not draw it up for him to throw it to the corner of the end zone. He wants the play to be executed a certain way, and if it's not, he's upset. So he was like, I'm not challenging that. We're going to do it my way, and then what happens?
And then on the very next play, 3rd down, 6 minutes left in the game, I want to say, something along those lines, maybe 8. I don't remember what the timestamp was. How much time was on the clock?
I don't know.
McCaffrey gets his 2nd receiving touchdown of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what that touchdown did for me. Okay. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
I got a chain mover best ball team into the finals, which is like a smaller tournament. So I got that in with the CMC touchdown. I got a Millie team into the finals. So really? I'm officially a best ball bro now because I got a finals, like a flagship, tournament into the finals. I got into the SFB finals.
I saw that
with Gardner Minshew on my roster.
I know. Wait. Yeah. Have you mentioned that team?
So what's really funny is that the Scott Fishbowl team in like week 5, I was doing the late round fantasy football show with David Kitchen. Okay. And I made a joke telling Kitchen that I was going to win SFB. And the very next week after I said that, I scored the most points in Scott Fishbowl. Right. At like that week, the very next week, have had some injuries and stuff like Cam Scadaboo, whatever. And the team though, I have Puka Nacua, Christian McCaffrey, and Trevor Lawrence. And the 3 of them are just playing. They're just lights out right now. Right. Jeez. And so, and among others. So Scott Fishbowl, I get 48th, which is top 50 getting into
all right. You snuck in
by 2 points. So I needed that Christian McCaffrey touchdown. And then there's this home league that I'm in. It's not my main home league that I commish that's been around for, 25 years or whatever. This is one that's been around for probably like 10 to 12. And I'm facing someone from back home. And their team has Puka Nacua. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is the most insane comeback I've ever had in fantasy football. Okay.
So you're down by 40 going into the weekend.
Yeah, and there's some weird like big play scoring in this. He had 47.5. It's not even a full PPR thing. It's a half PPR, but there's some weird scoring. 47.5. Then on Saturday, I have Colston Loveland, who doesn't do anything. It's a tight end premium league. Colston Loveland doesn't do anything, and Jordan Love gets concussed.
Whoa.
Against Puka Nacua. Okay.
So you're done.
This team that got in is a 6 seed that luck boxed Kyle Pitts in round 1 to get to round 2. And he went 13-15 in the regular season, but he doesn't have any quarterbacks. He has Geno Smith and Quinn Ewers, who both of them were like serviceable enough, and anyway, I beat the Puka Nacua team.
Wow.
Because I had CMC and George Kittle last night.
Wow. Nice.
And that CMC touchdown is what did it.
Oh man. See, this was the universe balancing itself,
right?
I mean, you've been down horrific all year on primetime island games,
right?
And you were just waiting for the balance, and the balance hit all at once. Sometimes the balance it comes through weeks,
Right.
Or sometimes it hits all at once.
My in-laws are in town, and my brother-in-law was sleeping on the couch last night while I was watching the game. I FaceTime Kitchen because we were kind of going back and forth, like sweating this game. I FaceTime Kitchen. And I can't scream though, because there's I'm just like, let's go. Like exactly in that way. Right. I'm not fake screaming right now. I was literally doing that because I couldn't do anything more because I would wake up my brother-in-law.
Yeah. Right.
And just going nuts. It was the essence of fantasy football. It was I've had the lows, and then you experience this insane high where like the seat to the Millie final, that alone is worth like $9,500 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And then, that's like an expected value. So my team's likely going to min cash, but regardless, it's an accomplishment.
Oh, it's a huge accomplishment.
After doing it this is the 2nd year of really being a best ball bro.
Yeah.
And like, that felt great. Getting into the SFB finals feels great, with a team that legitimately is pretty good. And then coming back and winning that game and all of that coming together, it's got to be a top 3 fantasy football night for me. It was incredible.
Top 3 ever.
Yeah. I don't know how you talk. Not only that, but the dramatics of him not challenging that touchdown, and then the very next play being the Christian McCaffrey touchdown that I needed.
Yeah.
That truly is a universe thing.
Yeah. I thought I didn't know that was happening for you, but when that happened, I thought, oh man, there are so many CMC managers who are just beside themselves right now with joy because that touchdown should have been a touchdown, but Shanahan was like, absolutely not.
Right.
We're going to just simply score the way we're supposed to score, which is a check down to CMC.
And to top it all off, me and my in-laws and my family today, we went this morning to an escape room and we escaped.
You did. So I've done an escape room and I didn't escape.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't. I'm still there.
Your basement is actually just.
I'm still. This is it. They brought the computer and I've been streaming here. Working here for 3.5 months
from the escape room. Yeah, it was a Scooby-Doo themed escape room.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Those things are. I was thinking about this afterwards. It's like really impressive that these escape rooms are, and by the way, I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep because my adrenaline was insane last night. Wow, and then my daughter woke us up at like 5:30 today.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's been a rough day from like a sleep perspective. But it's crazy that these escape rooms are planned out so well.
I know.
That it's always, like the timing is just perfectly for it to be that hour. And, if you're really good, maybe you do it within 10 minutes, or if you're not really good, then you'll just lose. But like, we got it with like 4 minutes left. Like, it's insane how well planned these things are.
It is very well timed. I mean, there were times where I was like, I have no idea what to do. And I was with Xavier, and he was like, "Oh, we simply do this and this and this," and we pulled that. And
was it just you two that did it?
It was just us, yeah. And we went there, and the easy one was not available. Neither was the medium. We had to do the hard one. And I feel like we were in over our heads. We did not escape.
Yeah. I mean, there were some moments today where I'm like, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, realistically, if this were life and death, I would be dead right now.
Same. I am not good in those situations. I'll be real with you guys.
Yeah, Amanda and I have watched a lot of Amazing Race in our time. That's one of our guilty pleasure shows. Although I think that's just like a general popular show. Like, that's not weird to be into. But I've always told her, like we always say, like, would we go on that show? I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the stress and the pressure of those moments. And then, honestly, I think the thing that I couldn't handle the most is just looking like an absolute doorknob on and just in front of the world,
Yeah. By the way, this is apropos to nothing, but as a Home Alone enjoyer, I think you need to see the recent SNL sketch that's like a parody of Home Alone. Have you seen that?
No, you know what I did see was the Love Is Blind one that did you see this? Where Ariana Grande and then the person who comes out on the other side is the Grinch.
Yes, yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But the Home Alone one, it's like a pre-recorded sketch, like one of those that they do, and I'm not gonna give it away, but really made me laugh. You folks check that out.
Did doorknob trigger that in your brain?
Yeah, I think it did.
I think it did.
And also I'm wearing these glasses. So
you're right. It's just always
thinking about Christmas.
Just always on your mind. We went to Charlotte Motor Speedway last night, which is the racetrack, like the NASCAR track that's here. And they do Christmas lights, and you get to drive on the track and stuff.
No way.
Drive through the infield, and then you end on the concourse, so you're just like out where you go get concessions in the bathroom and stuff like that.
Man, you were doing it up. You're doing all the holiday stuff.
Right now. Man, yeah, trying to. It's cool. It's a cool experience. You just sit in your car. Avery, we just put the sunroof, open it, and let Avery just stand outside and act like she's in the movie Blank Check.
That's right. Oh man, who can forget that? You're JJ Griswold over there.
Right. That's right.
Doing the whole family Christmas thing.
That's right. All right, let's move on to what happened last week. JJ McCarthy got banged up. He had 8.3. Tyler Shuck, 17.1. Aaron Rodgers, 15.5. Bryce Young, 17.6. Kirk Cousins, 17.6. Marcus Mariota banged up, 3.7. Overall, Not bad if you avoided the injuries, which there were a lot of across the league this past week. Darren Waller 7, Colston Loveland 6.
Yeah.
I still think do you think Colston Loveland's still a really good play this week if Burden and Adunze are both out?
I do, and I'm going to have him in my regression files piece on Roto World because I think Loveland's usage was good last week.
Yeah,
I mean,
81% route share, right? Like,
yeah, he was targeted at a high rate.
Yeah, to me, like that team that I won with, I have Loveland, I have Burden on IR, so like I could just play Burden if he plays, but Loveland to me is I did my rankings earlier today. I think I had him at like tight end 6 or 7 this week. Assuming those guys are out. So, oh man, I can't believe I just did that.
6, 7, 6, 7.
We went to lunch after the escape room today, and the hostess kept saying, "Okay, how many do you have? 6, 7?" And then she would count the menus, and she's like, "All right." And every time she did, she would say, and Avery is just losing her mind.
You're right.
Losing her mind, just looking at me going like this, and
6,
like,
7.
yeah. All right, Colston Loveland at 6, Colby Parkinson versus Terrence Ferguson. I'm pretty proud of the Terrence Ferguson take on the show last week.
We were on it.
Right.
I mean, the thing we didn't do is say play Ferguson over Parkinson, but Parkinson ran the same number of routes.
Yeah, sure. And I looked this up because we're going to be talking about this, but I do think that like the idea that Terrence Ferguson was more of the one-to-one replacement of Devontae Adams was very true if you look at where they lined up on the field. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm just glad. I mean, there was a clip that got floated around on Twitter that I retweeted and maybe on Blue Sky too. Whenever I was talking about that on the show last week. And then of course there's always that person who's like, well, then why didn't you rank Terrence Ferguson ahead of Colby Parkinson? And it's like, guys, it's still a W as an analyst if you're talking through the reason why this other thing could happen, because we're looking at range of outcomes here.
Right.
You know, like you're recognizing something that other people didn't necessarily recognize, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean Ferguson is legit this week.
Ferguson is legit pure. I think Ferguson is going to be an awesome pick next year.
Yeah, he's freakish.
Yeah, he's Waller-esque. Like he has the same kind of like receiver build. Isaiah Likely 0, Theo Johnson 0, Evan Ingram 5.6. I don't know what the heck was going on with that Giants passing attack last week.
Well, they gave up. They were 24% under the expected pass rate.
You were very on point with a lot of your takes about which teams have given up, and the Giants were one of them. They just don't care.
Absolutely. Like, I'm not saying that the league should investigate the Giants, but you might want to look into what's happening there, because they're not trying to win.
Yeah, I mean, and Vegas, who they get this week, it was the opposite for them. They were trying this past week,
and Vegas will win easily this week because the Giants again don't want to win.
There you go. There's your betting advice from Denny for this week. Go bet Vegas money line right now.
Right.
Put your life savings on it.
No, please
don't do that. Don't do that. Defense: Minnesota had 11, New Orleans had 19, Cincinnati had 6. So pretty good streaming defense week overall. Denny,
yeah.
Let's get to week 17, championship week. Hopefully you're not relying on many of these players. I can understand relying on some of the tight ends, but if you're relying on one of the quarterbacks in the non-super flex league, RIP your team.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Like, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel here. And I want to be real with you guys. I spent all day getting ready for the Roto World football show and doing my other stuff. So I'm not super prepared for these streamers, but I will give you what I got. Can I start with Kirk Cousins?
You can start with Kirk Cousins.
All right. I will start with Kirk Cousins because it's a good environment. Falcons and Rams, 49.5 point total. That's the fourth highest of the week. We have some pretty good high scoring games possibly.
They're either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Steelers Browns is like 33.5.
Yeah,
something absurd.
Yeah, it's ugly. There was a home team with an 11.5. Oh, Kansas City, 11.5 point total.
Yeah, I mean, talk about. I have Rashee Rice in 2 finals, and it's the most depressing thing ever.
He's not going to play, I don't think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Cousins, I think the Falcons will be forced to drop back a lot. The Rams are something of a pass funnel. I mean, just generally, the Rams defense has been pretty bad over the past month, and Cousins trying to get paid. Let's just embrace the narrative here, okay? Yeah. Let's embrace the narrative. Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts got together 3 weeks ago. They said, let's get paid. and they're going to go out and they're going to do that. So I think Cousins is a pretty good play against the Rams.
And look, I know that Drake London didn't have the production this past week, but I thought he visually looked like he was okay. Like he looked like his normal self for the most part.
Yeah.
They just had that game script did not go the way that I thought. I mean, sportsbooks were right and on point with how that game total looked. Because I was like, I mean, I thought it should have been over 50. But
well, the Falcons really dominated time of possession, and they didn't let Jacoby cook, unfortunately.
Right, and I don't think that's going to happen this week against LA. I mean, they're going to have to keep pace and be able to throw the ball more. So
yeah, I agree.
All right, I'll go to Geno Smith. I think Geno is a decent play. Like he was okay-ish against Houston this past week. I thought that. He hasn't been great this year. There's no doubt, but in certain environments, he can be okay. The Giants are the 8th best matchup for quarterbacks by adjusted points allowed. My Denny Carter analytics say the Giants have given up. Okay. The Giants have given
there
up.
you go.
Yeah. 21.5 point total. It's not like horrific. It's pretty bad, but it's not horrific. So I think Geno's okay. I would be playing Kirk Cousins over Geno more than likely, but I think Geno's fine.
Yeah, I would definitely play Cousins over Geno. Tyler Shuck. So Shuck went over 300 yards last week against the Jets, and he left a lot of meat on the bone. Okay. Actually, Chris Olave went ballistic air yards wise. He had a really good game, like regular yards wise, but it could have been even bigger. Shuck has been a top 15 quarterback in 5 of the past 6 games. It's not like the greatest environment here for the Saints. I'm trying to find the.
I think the total is like 38.5 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly actually, but I think you could do worse than Tyler Shuck against the pass funnel Titans. The Titans are a pretty legit pass funnel, I will say, especially over the past 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah, Shuck has 17 plus standard points in each of his last 4. By the way, I feel pretty vindicated. I like whenever we get to the end of the season and we can kind of look back and just like look at some takes and see how right or wrong. And I always get more focused on the ones where I had haters for, right? Like,
of course,
one of my bold it's just natural, right?
Yeah.
One of my bold predictions in my article this year was that Trevor Lawrence was going to outscore Baker Mayfield, and people lit that one up. And
I bet.
And now I'm just Vince McMahon walking in here. But the other one that's more of a dynasty take that I've had. I've always thought that like Chris Olave is just or that Garrett Wilson is just sort of a fancier Chris Olave. Just a like nothing against Garrett Wilson either. It's just that I think Olave is a really good player.
I think Olave is excellent, and he like hogs targets and air yards. Like, what else do you want?
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm relying on him in a few spots this weekend too. All right, we will move on to.
Oh, we wanted to mention Josh Johnson as like a deep streamer.
Deep, yeah. On paper, it's there. Obviously,
I know.
But it'd be really tough to trust. All right, tight end AJ Barner, Denny. AJ Barner had an 86% route share last week. He's had a 19% target share since week 11. And Carolina's an average matchup, and Seattle has a 25-point implied team total. I think AJ Barner is like a very solid high-end tight end too this week.
I wanted to mention Colston Loveland. He had a season-high route participation rate last week, as JJ mentioned. He had only 3 catches on 4 targets for 30 yards against Green Bay. But I think that increase in usage could pay off in a game against the 49ers that has the week's second highest total at 51.5. And that keeps climbing, actually. So Loveland could cook if the game script is right, which obviously the Bears want to be run heavy. I don't know if they'll be able to do that here.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like I was saying with Brock Purdy earlier, and why I just like have a hard time. I mean, he's playing so well right now. Yeah. This game's in San Francisco, and I think that's a huge. If this game were in Chicago, I'd feel totally different about this game.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we finally get the Bears in, conditions that are not like post-apocalyptic.
Right. And so like that, I think that we could, and it'd be great if we had Luther Burden and Rome Odunze. It'd obviously hurt. Colston Loveland, but it would help that offense and it would just help that shootout even more. But regardless, I think Purdy, there's like a giant tier out. Like I think Joe Burrow's the top play this week at quarterback, but there's just like this giant tier in my opinion, at quarterback, kind of after him. Where, but you could still consider him in the top, like these guys in the top tier, just because there's enough variance at quarterback that you don't have to like lock in Burrow as the QB1. But like Dak, good play this week against Washington. Trevor Lawrence, it's really hard to bench him. Not only are they getting Indianapolis, but he's just playing out of his mind. Brock Purdy playing out of his mind. Matthew Stafford playing out of his mind. I have all those guys ahead of Josh Allen right now. Do you think that's stupid?
No, I don't. I mean, maybe I would put Allen above Stafford, but
yeah, just for like it might not be as back and forth in that game.
Yeah.
That's the one that I was, and then Drake May kind of rounds out that top tier, right? Where it's like I can make an argument for any of these guys, and
although Allen's foot injury might affect his rushing, so
that's my thought is that, and then it's Philly, and there's some early weather concerns that could play a role. But then after that, I think Jalen Hurts is in the second tier. Like I would play all those guys over Jalen Hurts right now.
Hurts is not a good play.
And Jacoby Brissett's in that second tier. Caleb would be in that second tier. But like, there's a lot of good quarterback plays. But I do think that Purdy, is very much in the mix of like, I wouldn't fault anyone for ranking him as high as like 2 behind Burrow, just because of
it's a good spot. I mean, the Bears, neither the Bears nor the 49ers put any pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
Purdy cooks from a clean pocket. We saw that against the Colts.
Yeah. All right. I'll go to another tight end. Let's talk about the Rams tight ends really quick. My thing with the Rams is that I do think Colby Parkinson is probably the better play this week because he did run one or a couple more routes. One more route than Ferguson last week. And we've just seen it more with him, like in the red zone and stuff. And that's likely what we're going to need in this kind of environment and matchup. The Falcons are really good at defending the middle of the field. And they've been good against tight ends all year. What was really odd about Arizona last week is that they had like a 55% target share to their tight ends. And that's what Atlanta can defend well. And it doesn't, that to me, that's the reason why Arizona's offense was not able to move the ball because they're hyper targeting these tight ends when Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. had like a 20% target share last week combined. Yeah. And so that's what worries me a little bit about the matchup for the tight ends. They're if you look at how Ferguson and Colby Parkinson were deployed last week, Ferguson had a 46% slot rate, which is pretty strong at tight end. He had a 26% out wide rate, according to PFF. Parkinson was at 11% and 14%, which means he's playing in line. He's playing the more traditional tight end position. But then you go look and you're like, okay, well, then what's Atlanta's slot work look like? Well, they're a top 5 team at defending slot receivers. So everything in the middle of the field is just really tough for teams that are going up against Atlanta. But the Rams have this 29-point total. They're cooking offensively. Matthew Stafford's playing like an MVP. And so I understand going with one of these tight ends if you'd like to. Ferguson, more of a deeper play. Colby Parkinson, more of like a high-end 2, tight end 2 probably. But I'm not like overly enthusiastic about these guys this week because I don't think the matchup is that amazing.
So if the Rams tight ends are not in a good spot and Devontae Adams is out, that means it's Kanata Mumfield season because my guy saw 35% of the air yards last week.
You know where he went to school?
He went to Pitt. I remember playing him in DFS once.
Wow. Look at you.
I don't know why, but
all right. Do you have another tight end?
I do. Jake Tunges. We wanted to mention Tunges because Kittle might be out with an ankle injury, although he said it was very low, one of the lowest of all time, the ankle injury. So we'll look into that. But just keep tabs on Tunges because he would probably run something close to a full route share if Kittle is sidelined. Again, good offensive atmosphere with the Bears and Niners in that game. Taysom Hill. We need to talk about Taysom Hill because folks are going to want.
I want to hear your take on Hill.
Yeah. So I covered that game. Not that it gives me like special insight, but like I saw it happening in real time. Where the whole goal of the Saints against the Jets last week was to get Taysom the football.
Right.
And he ended up with 16 touches, a career high. He actually caught a touchdown that was called back. He threw a touchdown. He rushed for a touchdown. Like crazy, insane good usage, right? And then after the game, he's crying at the podium. He's saying, I'm probably not going to be back. They sent him out on a high note. And
in New Orleans, because it was their last home game.
It was their last home. They're not going to be back at the Superdome, the Mercedes Superdome, I should say. And So I think I don't think that you can bank on anything close to that. Now, does that mean that he's gonna go from 16 touches to 0? No, but I think something more in the 6 to 8 range is more reasonable here.
Yeah, and that scares me because like his 6 targets were by far a season high. Like it wasn't even close. And so like what scares me is that if you're in like a full PPR environment, Taysom Hill is way less attractive than a standard environment. Like this is one of the few cases where I actually do care about that, just because you're not going to get many of those cheap catches. You're really banking on touchdowns. And the problem with what they did last week with Taysom Hill is that Audric Estime becomes someone that you can't trust either, right?
No,
like hypothetically, Audric Estime actually had a pretty good usage game. Like from the standpoint of snap share and being and route share and stuff like that. But, he still gets half of the running back rushes. And then it's only like 5 or 6 rushes or whatever in that game.
5 and then 12 for Taysom.
Right. And so it's just impossible to then use him in this environment,
Yeah, I no, for sure. The thing with Taysom, I mean, just don't get over your skis about Taysom, right? But he's live for a touchdown because he was their main short yardage guy with Devin Neal out. I think that can continue. That will be likely to continue, and that could mean that he gets like tush pushes or whatever at the near the goal line. But again, we're not seeing that sort of usage repeat from week 16.
So I already did my rankings just because of the holidays, and I didn't have, it was my main thing that I had to do today. Instead of having to do like tons of shows and stuff like that. Taysom Hill to me is in the same tier as a Colby Parkinson. And I have Parkinson at tight end 16 right now. So I have Hill at tight end 17.
So I would play Taysom over Parkinson.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like I mean, I at least have them in the same tier. I think that's interchangeable. But like, Dallas Goedert in a tough spot, I'd rather play Goedert in against Buffalo. Darren Waller against Tampa Bay. You going Waller over these guys?
Go with Waller.
Yeah. Like, and then let's just segue to this. Mike Gesicki. I think I'd rather play Mike Gesicki over both of those guys this week.
Are his routes enough?
Well, this past week, this past week he had a 69% route share. The week before it was 75%. Like he's running routes. He had a 13% target share last week. It's kind of what you get with him with T. Higgins active, right? Is not massive spikes in targets, but dude, this like Cincinnati is a 30-point team total.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that is the game that you like. If this is how I see it. If we're debating Colby Parkinson or Taysom Hill versus Mike Gesicki, or let's just say Gesicki versus Taysom Hill, give me the guy that's going to be in this like crazy scoring environment.
Okay.
That's because realistically the Saints could score 2 or 3 touchdowns, maybe 3 if things like, go their way and it's a, solid enough script and game. And in that case, you're banking on a higher touchdown share from Taysom. And Taysom had a 44% snap share last week. You mentioned how insane it was, his usage. He just basically touched the ball every time he was on the field.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant with like, it was designed around him. It's like, if he came on the field, and you would think the Jets would have caught on, he's going to get the ball. That's a tough one, but not trying to be funny, but like if Noah Fant is active, are you as high on Gesicki?
Yeah. I mean, didn't he still play last week?
No, Noah Fant was out.
Okay, I couldn't remember if he was in or out last week.
So I don't know. It's just something to monitor.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a good call. I mean, that's probably the difference maker between the two. Of whether or not
it says
you go with Gesicki.
He
was there in week 15. That's what I'm thinking of, because I remember him catching a sideline catch and then he got hurt in that game, I think.
Yeah, it's just what I would say is keep it locked to RotoWorld for the latest on Noah Fant.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right. Those are all the tight ends. We mentioned Tunges and Loveland. Let's go to defense. I'll kick things off.
Okay.
I guess so I thought about the Chargers as a defensive streamer, but when I started researching this, I don't love them as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
The Texans haven't been as bad at generating pressure offensively or allowing pressure, I should say. They've been as bad, over the second half of the season as they were the first half of the season. This pressure rate matchup really isn't that amazing. The Chargers, though, they've been top 10 in 3 of their last 4 as a defensive unit. They're just a good defense. I think that's why you would play the Chargers. It's just because they're a good unit in general. But they were, they were obviously beat by Dallas a little bit last week, but a lot of teams get beat by Dallas. But there's not a super high total. It's just kind of like a mid, defense 15 kind of play.
Right. I just totally blanked here. Which defense? Oh, Cowboys. Look, they're probably going to get Quentin Williams back this week. Well, yeah. Keep it locked to row. And they're playing Josh Johnson and a Washington team that has given up. So don't overthink it. I think the Cowboys profile is a decent play here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Giants, who I think are probably the most traditional play, even though they've given up. And this has the vibes of, do you remember the Colts last year? Week 17 championship week?
No, I don't. What happened?
I think they played the Giants actually, and they got smoked.
Okay.
After every analyst was on the Colts as like a top streamer. I feel that way about the Giants, so I'm not going to go like all in here. But Vegas has allowed a top 10 defensive performance in 7 straight games. Like it's the best matchup that you can basically find for an opposing defense. Fairly low game total. So yeah, I mean, the Giants aren't great. So understand that there's risk, but I do think that they make sense.
So Quentin Ewers is supposed to start again for Miami. He was okay last week, actually. I was just looking at his pass rate or his completion rate over expected. He actually was almost 2% over, so that's not bad. But it's still Quentin Ewers. I think you can start the Bucks. Wait, they're playing the Bucks. Yes,
yeah, it's the Bucks.
And because the Dolphins are underdogs here, and you want Quentin Ewers having dropped back a negative game script.
Yeah, I thought Quentin Ewers was like decent, like all things considered. Like when you bring it all together and versus expectation versus how we thought it was going to go, it wasn't near. I watched a lot of that game. I mean, I watched all of it, but I mean, I whenever I watch games, I'm doing it passively because I'm working on like 15 transactions and stuff like that. And this week was just a little bit different. But I mean, I watch all the games, and when I watched that one a little bit closer, and I thought that he made actually some pretty decent throws, and it allows, thank God, Jalen Waddle and Devon Achane and even Darren Waller to still be relevant for fantasy purposes.
So I actually just wanted to share this with folks as for Darren Waller's prospects for this week. So with Tua, the Dolphins were averaging 170-ish total team air yards per game. Like it was bottom of the league. It's really hard for more than one pass catcher to get there with 170 air yards. With Quentin Ewers last week, they got to 230 total team air yards. That's a pretty big difference. I think it allows us to at least believe that Darren Waller can get there along with Waddle.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we have any? No, that's it.
No,
right?
that's it.
Okay.
So recap: Cowboys, Bucks, Giants, Chargers, Taysom Hill, Colson Loveland, Jake Tunges, AJ Barner, Rams tight ends, Mike Gesicki, Tyler Shuck, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith. All right, Denny.
Yeah.
Let's get to some questions.
I have one here if I could start.
Yeah, you started off.
Yeah. So I have this. This is from friend of the show, supporter of the show, Reg Kim, patron, says, my partner sends me so many Instagram reels that it's hard to keep up and respond to them. Do you get your inbox spammed by your partner as much as I do? What is your strategy in responding to them? Are you begrudgingly hitting the like button? Do you actually write back lols? Also, my Gen X hot take is that Instagram Reels retweets are the same as AOL chain email forwards from the boomers.
I kind of agree with a lot of what he just said.
I feel it in my bones.
Yeah. Does Melissa send you a lot of Instagram Reels?
Yes, and my mother-in-law.
Oh.
And my like former coworkers. Like, it's a lot. A lot.
So here's my problem is that Amanda refuses to go on TikTok, and I use TikTok. I'm a millennial who uses TikTok. Okay, like
you're the only one. Congrats.
Right, I am the only one. There's just a bunch of Zoomers on there. No, I think TikTok is amazing. I have one of my best friends and I are on TikTok. Like that's like he's my go-to friend who we just send the dumbest stuff back and forth to each other. Right, but Amanda is not on TikTok. And so I go to my DMs on Instagram and there is always a video waiting for me. I don't always react. I've told her blanket statement, when I don't react, it doesn't mean I didn't watch the video.
Right.
That's what I say.
I feel not, and that's not just with Instagram, but just with all forms of electronic communication and sharing. I feel very burdened by that. And and it's like, when do I actually like get to work instead of like grinding these videos and articles and stuff? And look, I send stuff too. I'm guilty of it too. Like I see a funny video and I'm like, check out this monkey, hilarious. But it's a burden. It is.
The worst is when someone sends you the video and then you don't respond in text message or something. And then you go back because you're like, oh, I got to send, my friend a text about something. And you realize you never responded. And then you have to be like, oh, sorry. But I am the number one. I'm the biggest offender of getting texts, marking them as read because I see it, but I can't respond in that moment and then never getting back to them.
It's hard to remember. I'm like, what would life be like if I didn't have to deal with any of that? But I feel like I would have like way more capacity. I mean,
that's me once football season ends, buddy.
You're throwing your phone in the ocean, right?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'm going to be at the Super Bowl this year.
That's awesome. I'm very happy. I'm going to be there too.
Yeah. So we got to do some collab stuff.
For sure. I have to tell RotoPat you're going to be there.
Yeah. We're going out there with it's me and Kitchen. We'll be out there. I don't know what days exactly, but we will be out there so you guys can
that'll be fun. I'm going to tell you, I've been told by people with deep knowledge of the Santa Clara area that it's not the best for visiting purposes.
Right.
Which I've never been there. Obviously, it's on the West Coast. Why would I ever go? But I went to New Orleans last year for the Super Bowl, and it was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans is a truly goated city.
It's the best American city.
I think it's the best American city too. I said that the first time I went there with Amanda. I've been there 3 times. The first time I went there with Amanda, we were 23 years old, 24 years old. And I walked out of there and I said, this is my favorite non-Pittsburgh city. And I only say that because of the sentimental value.
Right.
Objectively, New Orleans is a better city than Pittsburgh. But New Orleans is incredible. Everything about that city.
And it's not just the drinking and the booze. Like that. That's not. It is. I don't know. It's old. It's an old city. Right. It's like the one old American city.
It's such a vibe that you literally will never experience that vibe anywhere else in the world.
It's like I ate when I was at the Super Bowl last year. I ate at a place with RotoPat and Drew Dinzig, who does betting content for NBC.
Yeah,
and Drew is the GOAT. Like he knew every single place in New Orleans. It was incredible. Nice. So Drew took us to this place, this tavern that's been around since like 1690 or something.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? You can tell it's been around that long because everybody was 5 foot. Back then, right. So I walk in and I feel like a damn giant at 5'10".
Someone says, I don't drink while I still enjoy New Orleans. Yeah, you can still enjoy.
There's so much to do and see. And like JJ said, it's just a really good vibe. I will say there was a military occupation at the time because there was that attack on New Orleans.
Right.
They had military helicopters flying overhead, and literally hundreds of troops in the streets. But besides that, the vibe was good.
Right. Aside from the police state, it was fantastic.
It really did. It was police statey.
Yeah. Next question's from I Am Groot 2001. It says, when showering, how often do you wash your feet?
Oh, well, I mean, we've talked about this, right?
We have, but I think we can always bring it back.
Yeah. I have gotten more used to washing my feet. I do it every time. Every time. And I get in there. Like,
do you use washcloth with soap in the shower?
I just get my hand really soapy and I go all around my foot.
Yeah.
And
I'm probably like the bottom. I shower every day and I probably wash my feet 3 times a week.
That's fair. Especially if I'm sweaty though.
Yeah, but here's my thing with the feet stuff is that when you're in the shower, there's water and soap at least like getting around your feet naturally.
Yeah.
You know, to some degree. I'm not saying don't ever wash your feet. I'm saying that's part of the reason why there are some showers that I take that are mostly just hair and quick body wash done, right? Like not the most but then there's some showers that are more in-depth showers.
Yeah. When you really want to be squeaky clean.
Right.
I have a question, but real quick, I just want to say for the record, my wife has sat me down and been like, you gotta do something about this. Your feet smell like.
Oh, right.
Like,
you were talking about that. You have smelling feet.
And so I've taken every measure. I wash my feet every single day, like thoroughly. I put those inserts into my shoes every night. I have the spray that
Are the inserts like to make your shoes smell better?
Well, it takes the bad odor out or whatever.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten a complaint since, and it's been over.
Have you gone to the doctor?
Why would I go to the doctor?
I don't know. Is there something correlated?
Go to the doctor, JD. What am I gonna say? My feet stink, doc?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Sometimes there's weird symptoms for different stuff. Who knows? Put it in the chat GPT. Let's see what it says.
There's zero chance. It's gonna be like you have foot cancer, by the way. No, I'm not doing that. I had a question for you. Okay, this is a real question.
Okay.
Do you wash your armpits more than once per shower?
More than once per shower?
Why was that? Like, do you do it once and then like rinse it and then it still smells? Because I got to wash them twice.
Oh no, I only need to wash them once.
Really? And it smells perfectly fine.
Look, I sweat a lot. Like I'm a big sweater, but like when I exercise and stuff, right? Like I'll be sweating 3 to 5 minutes into my exercise almost every time, right? And so like, but no, I don't. I haven't had that problem. Maybe you
you really want me to go to the doctor? Dude, no. I'm dead serious. Like I'll take a bar of soap and I will like grind like in my armpit. What time of day are you showering? Usually between like 10 and 11 a.m.
See did you put on deodorant that morning?
No.
There's the problem.
Well, no, but I mean, I had put it on the previous day.
Yeah, so I put it on, and part of my ritual in the morning is that I brush my teeth and I put deodorant on.
Okay, but do you take a shower at night?
No, I take a shower probably around noon to 1 every day because I try to get my workout in, like and so probably like noon, let's say, right?
Okay,
gotcha. So like exercise at 10:30 or 11, in that time frame, and then shower after that, and I'm smelly from the exercising, but the deodorant helps that. Like you gotta put the deodorant on in the morning.
There's no way I'm doing that.
Armando in chat says JJ is masking the smell and Denny is being consumed by fungus.
Fungus.
Yeah, look, if I'm masking the smell, that's what deodorant's for, you guys. It's to mask the smell. This is quite literally the reason that you wear deodorant.
Yeah, well, and I'm gonna be very real with you guys.
You don't wear deodorant, period?
No. I wear deodorant. But I gotta wear like the sensitive kind, whatever. But
so you have sensitive armpits.
I do. I sometimes, not a joke, not a bit, I sometimes have to wash my armpits 3 times in the shower.
3 times. Denny, put deodorant on your body when you wake up in the morning. Go when you brush your teeth, okay? When you brush your teeth, when you wake up, brush your teeth and just a couple swipes under each armpit. You're good to go.
All right. I'll take your advice, Doc. By the way, Armando says he loves explaining to my family why, quote, feet stuff is being mentioned from my laptop.
Yeah, that's the thing. People, and I also love, like, look, this time of year, fewer listeners because people aren't in fantasy as much. It's championship week, whatever. It's also the holidays. We have fewer concurrent viewers right now than we've had all season long.
I know.
And right when we got into the question section, people just pieced out. They're just like,
I know it's a tough time for content.
It's a really tough time for content. And that's why I made the choice. The controversy. Did you see all the controversy that went on? Like I was trending on Twitter.
What?
There was a you didn't. Oh, I guess you didn't see any of this, did you?
No.
Okay, so I do the data dump every
Okay. Yeah.
every week, right? And I put it on Blue Sky too.
I see it. Yeah.
And so I do the data dump. And a couple weeks ago, when I did the last one, I guess, a week from this past Sunday, Sunday to Monday. So I work on that thing. I start working on the data dump, Denny, after the 1:00 games are over, the early afternoon games are over, not nonstop, but through halftime of Sunday Night Football is when I'm putting that thing together. That was never meant to be. I don't know how it became the thing that it became. Okay.
So you're dumping for hours.
I'm dumping for hours. I mean, maybe I'm the one that needs to go to the doctor. But anyway, I go to Twitter then, and I say, and I said this on Blue Sky, but Blue Sky didn't get the same reaction because it's just fewer people and also probably kinder people. But the reaction to me saying that it was the last data dump of the season, there was a couple people, one person in particular, who said, you're going to abandon people during championship week, the final week of the season. You're just going to abandon people. And I go, dude, that's not the only piece of content that I do.
Also, no one's paying attention.
Right. Like, yes. And so there was this long back and forth with this guy, me trying to just explain. And then finally another guy chimed in and agreed with him. And so I was like, if people are agreeing, I'm going to quote tweet this and kind of explain what's going on. And my explanation was the equivalent of, hey guys, I'm running my business. I know when things are good or bad. And I get to make those sacrifices, and I will own those sacrifices, and those consequences to those actions, right? Like I run a business. Okay. If I decide to not do something and it hurts me, that's on me. It's on me.
Why are you worried about it?
Stop worrying about it. Right. And so I sent a tweet out about that, and I was like, and most importantly, I want to spend time with my family over the holiday. Right. Like it's
how dare you, first of all.
Right. And I'm like, this is the bottom of the barrel thing. I'm still doing rankings on Patreon. I did 15 transactions this week. I'm still doing other content. And so this goes on, and 99% of people are like, yeah, do your thing, JJ. Like people are not, overall, they're not horrible people.
Right.
And then every once in a while, there's the person that's just like, telling me how I should run my business. But then the next day on Twitter with their AI trends, like the way that I'm assuming AI would just pull what's being trended, multiple people saw a trend that said fantasy expert JJ Zachariason skips week 17 data dump for family holidays.
Shut your mouth.
I swear.
What?
Yes. And then on Sunday, 2 days ago, while the games were going on, the late afternoon games hit, I sent a tweet out that just said, FYI, I'm not currently working on the data dump. Just to,
just to juice it.
Just to juice it.
Yeah, just to juice it.
I might have juiced it a little bit. All right.
You love your clicks. You do it all for the clicks.
Yeah. But it was quite a. I mean, look.
That's
like
crazy.
I said, over 99% of people were so like these people are dumb. Like this is obnoxious. This is ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. Like
you're saying. I'm sorry, but you're saying Grok basically outed you for wanting to spend time with your family over patronizing fantasy brokers.
Yeah, because it became a thing where people are like commenting on it and giving their take, and they're like, some people are like, they're right, you're abandoning your listeners. I'm like, guys, the original guy who said it then admitted later that he had no idea that I did anything else other than a data dump.
Get out of here then.
Yeah, right. I'm like, that's fine. I don't expect everyone to know who I am, but can people stop commenting on things when they don't know what they're talking about? Like, can that? I understand that's the ethos of the internet, right? Like that's just like what this is all about, right? But like, I'm over that. I'm very much over. You don't have to comment on everything, you guys. You just don't.
I fall for that mindset. I feel like I need to comment on everything, and I've actually caught myself recently several times where I was about to get into it.
Yeah.
On Blue Sky, and I did not. So yeah, it's a good thing to watch. But also, JJ, I feel like you've reached the level where you said I don't expect everybody to know who I am. I feel like you should be like, you should know who I am. No, I'm sorry. Like, come on, man. Like, I've been around enough. I'm like at the top of the top of the top. Give me a break with this.
You don't need to know I don't care if people know who I am or not, nor do I expect them to know who I am or not. But if you're gonna comment and make a rude and semi-nasty comment to me, at least have any idea of like who you're commenting to. Like any I'm not saying me going into that. Just look for quite literally 13 seconds, you'll figure it out that I have a podcast and I'm doing all this other content.
By every metric, people completely pull the ripcord by late December in fantasy. Like very few people are paying attention, and that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
But it is a reality of the situation, and you have to acknowledge that.
You also have to recognize that, and I'm not saying, I mean, anyone listening to this understands this, but like the advice that we give and the analysis that we do is actually more important in like week 8, week 9 than it is week 17. Week 17, we kind of all know what's going on here, right? It comes down to start sit decisions and helping people out there. It's not like we're talking about forecasting 4 weeks into the future. And that's what like our job is really important for, is trying to be 1 week ahead. There's no more weeks. This is the last, you're not gonna be 1 week ahead. There's no more weeks.
Right. You're not gonna have a 20-minute podcast on who to pick up on the waiver wire.
Like, it's just not gonna happen. All the 15 transaction shows are shorter. And then in Chad says it's because most people's teams are donezo. Yeah, of course. Like there's the probability says that only 2 out of 12 teams are remaining right now.
10 people have tuned out in every single league.
Right. And I feel very lucky whenever, the podcast numbers aren't dropping at nearly that kind of rate. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, it's just
that's funny though, that there was a headline like basically
headline. Like Gretchen and Andrew Cooper saw it and all, like, yes, it was a thing that people were just seeing on their Twitter.
I feel like it should be like on the front of the New York Post, like Fantasy Bro abandons listeners at time of need.
That's what it felt like, man. It's like, it was just, I mean, I was kind of laughing through it because I thought it was pretty funny. But it's also just like such a good example of, getting to a point where it is impossible for me to ever do anything right. Like there will always be something that is wrong about a decision I make. Right.
Yeah. Well, for somebody.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Look, I made the right decision. Like, of course I made the right decision with how I handled all of this stuff, but like, my content and stuff. I'm just saying that like, it is, going back to what people always say, you can't please everyone. It's quite literally true. Like you just cannot.
No, don't try. Don't try.
You just got to accept it.
I have a question here from Eric Belair. Can I read this one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Eric says, friend of the show, friend of ours, says, if it's truly, quote, the most wonderful time of the year, why does it seem like people act like a-holes? Sorry to the kids, i.e. driving, shopping, me first, more this time of year than any other time. I mean, it's a high stress time of year.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Like, you are expected to spend a lot of money and a lot of time making a lot of people happy. Yep. And we all end up miserable because of it. And I mean, I really, really have grown to resent the Christmas season because it should be fun and it should be a relaxing time, but we have made it so that it is it's such a strain, right? On especially, if you are, I'm trying not to like say only parents, having kids, having lots of nieces and nephews and stuff to make sure you get everything for that. To me, that complicates things. It makes it tougher.
It does. I mean, that's point blank why people are a-holes, as Eric mentioned. It's stressful.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually at my daughter's basketball game the other day, and I saw a woman who was sitting on not the basketball floor, not the actual court, but like on the sideline, and somebody was too close to her, I guess. And she just snaps, "Can you get away from me, please?" Like, and it was so loud, like everybody turned and looked. And I was like, and I mean, this happened like a week before Christmas, really. And I'm like, man, people are just stretched so thin right now. Yeah. Everybody's a jerk.
Yeah. Do you want to go one more?
Yeah.
This is in the Christmas spirit. It's from Steak Knife Op. It's the last question of the season. Thoughts on candy canes?
Candy canes have changed a lot. It turns out.
What's the state? Tell me more.
Starburst, Skittles, Nerd candy canes, all sorts of actually good candy canes are out there, and my kids get them and they hang them on the tree. Yeah. And I go by and I grab one sometimes and I have them and they're good.
And they replenish on the tree?
They appear, yes, they do reappear on the tree.
Wow.
But I mean, but let's be honest about like traditional candy canes. They're terrible.
Yeah. And so you're consuming them and then they're putting them back up as if they're the ones that are buying them. And
Yeah, right. Well, I've bought them.
Well, this is tangentially related, but Avery has dance like 4 times a week. Okay. She's very into dance and she's got all these classes and stuff. And we found out that months ago, and now we just kind of lean into it, but she gets a snack for dance, right? For like their break or whatever. And she would ask for cheese sticks. Okay. As one of her, like a cheese stick. And then she's like, can I get like 3 of them? And we're like, okay, that's fine. Like if you really want 3 cheese sticks, she's just handing them out. She's not even eating. She's just the cheese. So now all of her like teammates and her dance team and stuff, they just expect cheese sticks. And then I sit there and I'm like, but I'm the one who's paying for the cheese sticks. Right. Avery's generosity is actually my generosity, guys.
Yeah, right. Just so everybody knows, I paid for those. Excuse me, little girl. Yeah. I'm gonna need you to acknowledge. No. That is funny though. My daughter did the same thing with a bunch of chocolate we had in the house. I went to go like get a little chocolate after lunch one day, and I'm like, where'd it go?
Yeah.
And it turns out she took all of it to school and passed it all out. And I said, what the hell?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, fortunately, I'm dairy free. As I don't know if people realize this, but I am gluten and dairy free. Soy, not so much anymore. It's just too hard. But gluten and dairy, I'm very free of it. So
they're calling you a soy boy.
Yeah, some have said that, especially the people who were mad that I took off the data dump this week.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyway, Denny, that's it. That's the last show of the season. We'll probably do a DGAF. We'll do a DGAF eventually, right?
Maybe in January.
Yeah. But that's the last show of the season. I got to say, always a pleasure doing the show with you, buddy. This is what, year 13?
13, yeah.
Of doing this. And, you know, we have our corner of the internet with the honestly, we say it all the time, like just the smartest and wittiest people alive. And I feel very lucky to be able to do this.
Me too. It's a great audience. We appreciate you guys supporting the show, listening to us. We'll be back for a DGAF episode, and in the meantime, make sure to check out all of JJ's off-season stuff. Draft stuff is second to none, and then keep it locked to Roto World because we will keep creating content for your eyeballs.
Yeah, and then you guys will see a little crossover going on in February with the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Check out half drunken selfies of me and JJ after I've had 2.5 hard seltzers.
Yeah. I'll be right there with you.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Really appreciate you listening. Good luck in championship week. We will catch you in the year 2026. Got to throw out the dad joke before we
there you go.
Before we head out. All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Living the Stream. We hope you enjoyed the internet podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes now. It won't take long. It's fast. For more fantasy football info, check out
LateRound.com and Roto World.
Hope you come back soon as we share about the team.